Marching upward to Zion, Zion, the beautiful city of God.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to see everyone that have turned out this morning. Because we have people that are traveling and going to the youth conference and maybe somewhere else. But glad to see those that are here. This morning I would like your attention for a little while. I ain't going to try to keep you long, but we've been studying in our Bible class the last couple of weeks about the judges and the first anointed king. So I decided that since we were talking about in the previous week, the Lord wanted Saul to kill the Amalekites and kill all of them. He killed some of them, brought the best of the sheep and oxen and stuff back, and brought the king back. And the Lord had told him he wanted to destroy all of them openly. That means get rid of all of them. So if you have your Bible this morning, I'm going to point out a few things about what the Lord, when he tells you to do something, he means what he says. In the book of Exodus, chapter 17, we turn there. One of the Exodus chapter 17. That's the chapter we're going to start off with. Here, the children of Israel, they had came across the Red Sea. The Lord had brought across the Red Sea. This one, they had been in the wilderness for 40 years. And here, they always murmured and griped about things the Lord had told them to do. Dissatisfied, Moses was the leader. And we're going to look at some things why they wanted to sacrifice Moses, wanted to kill him, and Moses is doing what he's supposed to do. So sometimes when you're in leadership, you get blamed for things for taking the message or whatever, and things that don't work the way the people want them to work, you get blamed for it. So, but the main point here, what I'm going to get to for the end of the lesson, that the Lord wants the Amalekites destroyed. And here, he's going to tell you why he wants them destroyed. When his people had just was in the wilderness, in chapter 17, we'll get to this in a minute, that they was weak at this time. You know, Satan tried to jump on you at a weak point. You know, he want to get you when you're sort of down. And they had been in the wilderness for 40 years, and at this time here, beginning in verse 1, chapter 17 of Exodus, and all of the Lord and pitched in Rephaim, I guess I'm pronouncing that word right. There was no water for the people to drink. Wherefore the people did chant what was happening. Moses going to be there, and he got to stand all day and everything. He was old, getting weak, and his arm going to start to flap down. And you know, when his arm go down, the Amalekite going to start whipping the Lord people. As long as his arm's up in the air, they was going to win. But verses 10. So Joshua did as Moses had said to him, and fought with the Amalek. And Moses, Aaron, and Hur went up to the top of the hill. And it came to pass when Moses held up his hand that Israel prevailed. And when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. So it's a give and take thing. As long as Moses holding it up, they was winning. He get weak, his hand go down, and then the Amalek start whipping up on the Lord people. But Moses' hands were heavy. And they took a stone and put it under him, and he sat thereon, and Aaron and Hur stayed up his hand, the one on the one side and the other one on the other side, and his hands were steady until the going down of the sun. And Joshua disconformed the Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. So he killed them, did a lot of damage to them. And the Lord said to Moses, write this for a memorial in the book and rehearse it in the ears of Joshua, for I will openly put out the remembrance of the Amalek from under heaven. And Moses built an altar and called the name of the altar Jehovah, for he said, because the Lord has sworn that the Lord will have war with Amalek from generation to generation. Now, we were studying over in Samuel chapter 15 about what the Lord told Saul he wanted him to go kill him. This is why the Lord wanted them to kill him. So we had to go back and see. It was interesting to me because I read this before until we were studying in the lesson. It just brought back memories that this is why the Lord wanted them killed. Because what they did to his children when they were out there in the wilderness. And so the Lord loved his children. He don't want nobody trying to mess with his people. And if you going against the Lord, you doing something terrible. But going on to chapter Samuel, let us turn to 1 Samuel chapter 15, where the Lord going to conclude this about the Amalek and the Amalekites. So he had set charge here in chapter 15 that he wanted Samuel, in verse number 1, Samuel, he said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over the peoples of Israel. But therefore hearken unto the voice of the words of the Lord. So he wanted Saul to hearken, listen to what he wanted to say. We know Saul was the first chosen king. And it used to be judges. And the people didn't want judges. So he had Samuel to anoint Saul. Saul was the chosen one. You know, Saul really didn't want to be king. You know, and he hid himself, and you know, he had went out looking for his father, sent him out looking for his donkeys that they had strayed away. And you know the story as we studied all the last couple of weeks that you was here in the Bible class, that he sent them on a long journey. They could not find the donkeys. And so, but Samuel told him what to do. And his servant that was with him told him that there was a seer, and I'm sure where it was at, that if he see him, that he would tell him what they must do and send them on their way. And so, but anyway, going on in this story here, verse number 2, thus said the Lord of hosts, I remember that which the Amalek did to Israel. There it is. He remembered what they did to him. The Lord had not forgotten. And the Lord don't forget when we do stuff neither. So we need to remember that also. How he laid wait for him in the way when he came up from Egypt. So that's what they did. They laid in wait. They knew they was coming. They laid in wait, and we just read back in Exodus what they did. They ambushed them when they thought they was weak and they could prevail over them, but they didn't. And verse 3 goes on, now go and smite Amalek and openly destroy all they have, and spare them not, but slay both man and women, infant, sucklings, ox, sheep, camel, and asses. Now, to me, this sort of plain what he wanted him to do, Saul. Go in and destroy everything. I say everything. I won't go and name all these names. But I would say, what Wiley would put it, you go there and destroy everything. Don't leave nothing. But he plainly stated what he wanted him to do, and which that did cover everything. But Saul, being the person that he was as king, verse 4 says, Saul gathered the people together and numbered them in Tanakh 200,000 footmen and 10,000 men of Judah. Verse 5, and Saul came to the city of Amalek and laid wait in the valley. He laid wait on them like they laid wait on them. Well, their people, because Saul wasn't there at the time, but the Lord people. And it was time to be paid back for the things that they had done. So verse 6 goes on, and Saul said unto the Canaanites, go, depart ye, get you down from among the Amalekites, lest I destroy you with them, for ye showed kindness to all the children of Israel when they came up out of Egypt. So the Canaanites departed from among the Amalekites. So this was a good thing. Saul said they was kind to them, the Israelites, back then. But he wanted them to depart from them. If they did not depart from with the Amalekites, they were going to kill them along with the Amalekites. So he warned them, and they did take the warning. So verse 7, and Saul smote the Amalekites and the Havanites until thou comest sure that is over against Egypt. So he had a mind of doing what right, but you know, we studied about Saul. He always wanted to please the people rather than pleasing God all the time. And sometimes when you got that kind of mind that you want to please the people, it's going to cause you problems. And we know that there are scriptures saying better to please. I was looking at the other night on the level of mind that better to please God rather than man. I might not be quoting it exactly right, but we need to please God rather than man. Whether it be our sister, brother, children, or whatever. Because when it comes down to it, they can't save them. And the Lord, the only one can save them and take care of us in time of need. And that's who we're going to go and spend eternity with if we want to go to heaven. And I want to be with him. I don't want none of my sisters or brothers or family members, church members. I'm trying to please them and not get what God is. Now, as we go on this lesson, we're going to see that's what's going to happen to Saul. He's going to get rejected from being king because what he did not do. Which he knew what to do, but he didn't do. You know, and I will be honest, at this time here, Saul was not a bad person at this time, but he got wicked and wicked as time went on. If you do reading and studying about Saul. But right now, Saul was really not a bad person. He did one thing before this, that when he both been waiting on Samuel, and Samuel was delayed for some reason, maybe the Lord had Samuel delayed. He waited 7 days, and Samuel didn't show, so he made sacrifices which he was not supposed to do. And so, in which the normal person, a lot of times, when someone don't show up, they will take things in their own hands and do the best that they could, but the Lord didn't want to do that. And so, and that's why we need to be very careful about how we do things. Okay? In verses number 8, and he took Agag, the king of the Amalekites, alive, and openly destroyed all the people with the edge of the sword. But Saul and the people spared Agag and the best of the sheep, and the oxen, and the fatlings, and the lambs, and all that was good, and would not openly destroy them. But everything that was vile and refused that they destroyed openly. So what they thought wasn't good was bad, they destroyed. But the good stuff, they kept it. The Lord didn't want none of it. You know, to me, this is just like a person who stole something. They bring it to you trying to sell it. You know, and you take that and buy it. You just worse at the road. Right. You know they done stole it. Why would you take it? You know, I be faced with that a lot. You know, sometimes you look in a little shop gap, you know, did a little stuff. They bring tools by and, you know, got stuff. And I know some of them, and I know what they capable of doing. I know. Man, I know you can use this and you can use that. I said, no, I know your track record. No. I don't want to be on WCBI. No. And so, and I'm serious, a lot of times this goes on, and you know certain people that do that. Most of all of us know people that capable of doing stuff like that, and they're doing that. And one person I told, man, just don't come over here, man. You can't bring this stuff, don't come over here. Because I know what he do. And so, but anyway, they kept the best of the stuff, but what they throw, Saul did, what they throw wasn't good. They went on and destroyed. Now, verses 11, 10, then came the word of the Lord unto Samuel, saying. Now Samuel finna confront Saul. You know, Saul was just like I'm gonna be honest, to me like a little pouting kid a lot of times. You know, Samuel was there to instruct him and help him along the way, which tell him the right thing to do. It's like a tutor in a sense. But when he put on his big boy pants, he didn't want Samuel around. But then when he get in trouble, he wants Samuel around. You know, that's a lot of times that's what people do. And so here, the Lord sent Samuel to him. Verse 11, it repenteth me that I have set up Saul to be king, for he is turned back from following me, and has not conformed my commandment. And it grieved Samuel, and he cried unto the Lord all night. Saul, man, you know, Samuel didn't want to hit it. He didn't want to have to go to Saul. He grieved, and he cried out to the Lord all night. The Lord told him that I'm displeased with Saul. But Samuel, he was a good man. You know, he like him tutoring a little child. You know, he done did wrong, but let him go this time. Don't do this to him this time. The Lord said, yeah, no, I got to do it. You know, and Samuel, as we studied in these Bible school lessons every time Samuel got in trouble, Saul got in trouble, Samuel would try to vouch for him, or, you know, try to uphold for him, or, you know, tell the Lord don't be so hard on him. Okay, but going on in verse 12, and when Samuel arose early to meet Saul in the morning, it was told Samuel, saying, Saul came to Carmel, and behold, set him up a place, and is gone about, and passed along, and gone down to Gilgal. So, you got to talk to Saul. And it seemed like to me this is one of the hardest things Samuel wanted to do. He got to go tell Saul that you're going to be rejected from being the king. You got to go down there and do it. And Saul being the person he is, and Samuel being the person who is a man of God, Samuel was a little afraid of Saul. If you go back and study the lesson, because Saul had started to get a little wicked. He didn't know whether Saul would want to kill him or not. And so you got to go tell somebody that called himself all powerful what he thought in his sight, what's been happening to him. Okay? Verse 14. And Samuel said, what meaneth then this? I think, okay, back in 13, I think I skipped that. Okay, and Samuel came to Saul, and Saul said unto him, Blessed be thou of the Lord. I have performed the commandments of the Lord. Whoa, Saul. You did not. You performed some of it. You did not do what you were supposed to do. Verse 14, and Samuel said, what meaneth when this bellowing and sheep and in my ear, and the lowing of the oxen which I hear? He heard sheep out there. He heard oxen. You said you done what the Lord said to. Verse 15, and Saul said, they have brought them from the Amalekites, for the people spared the beast, the best of the sheep and the oxen, to sacrifice unto the Lord thy God, and the rest we have openly destroyed. Well, number one, Saul, what did he tell you to do? Now he said the people, he over the people. He over them. He the man for being in charge. They brought him back. Didn't you have something to say about it? Yes, you did. You let them did that. You could have said no. You know, that happened to us a lot of times. We just said no. You know, we can say no to a lot of things. And sometimes we don't. But we got to deal with God about that. Verses number 15. 16. Okay. Then Samuel said unto Saul, stay, and I will tell thee what the Lord has said to me this night. And he said unto him, say on. And Samuel said, when thou wast little in thine own sight, was thou not made the head of the tribe of Israel, and the Lord anointed thee king over Israel? The answer is yes. He was made king when he was young. He was not an old man at this time. He was young. And the Lord sent thee on a journey and said, go and openly destroy the sinners, the Amalekites, and fight against them until they be consumed. Wherefore, then, doest thou not obey the voice of the Lord, but doest fly upon the spoil, and doest evil in the sight of the Lord? And Saul said unto Samuel, Saul said unto Samuel, yea, I have obeyed the voice of the Lord, and have gone the way which the Lord sent me, and have brought Agag the king, Amalek, and have openly destroyed the Amorites. Now, how can you say that you have done that and you got the king back with you? You brought him back with you. You know, what is his mindset? Again, he wanted to bring the animal back, he said, for sacrifice unto the Lord. The Lord did not want him to sacrifice to him with those animals. He did not want him to bring Agag back, the king. You know, so, verse 21, but the peoples took the spoil, the sheep, the oxen, the chief of the things which should be being openly destroyed, and sacrificed unto the Lord thy God in Gilgal. The people, you over. This is your army. You are the king. You let them do. You know, this reminds me a lot of times, you know, people say, you know, about the children a lot of times. All the children want to do. Are they grown? There's a child. They're in your house. You let them do. I know it get to home base. I heard one preacher say something there, but you get home base when you get there sometimes. A little 7, 8 year old kid, I think a parent got control of them. I can see maybe want to be a big one, 17, 18, 19, you know, and he done got up and think he's getting pretty rough and tough and think he can handle a parent. But look, 7, 8, 9, and 10-year-old? No. No. Verse 22. And Samuel said, has the Lord as great delight in burnt offering and sacrifice as in obeying the voice of the Lord? Behold, to obey is better than to sacrifice, and to hearken than fat of ram. So, Saul, why didn't you just do what the Lord asked you to do? You know, bring a sacrifice. He don't want that. It's better to obey than sacrifice. And if you don't do right, you're going to do wrong. It's one or the other. Amen. It ain't but one way or the other way. It ain't but two ways, right or wrong. Make the choice. Verse 23. For rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft, and stubbornness is as iniquity, and idolatry, adultery, because thou hast rejected the word of the Lord, he has also rejected thee from being king. So, when you don't do right with the Lord, there's recompense. There's something going to happen. Verse 24. And Saul said unto Samuel, I have sinned, for I have transgressed the commandments of the Lord and thy word, because I feared the people and obeyed their voice. He said, I fear you, the king. I know a kingship job is hard, just like a president, because you always got somebody want to kill you. But you are in command. You are in control. You fear the people. You could have seen to this task being taken out the way that the Lord had wanted it to be. So, anytime you go against the Lord, you rebel against the Lord, and don't do what he says, there are consequences. But one thing I do like what Saul said, he realized that he had sinned. And he had transgressed the commandments of the Lord. 25. Now therefore I pray thee, pardon my sin, and turn again with me, that I may worship the Lord. So he wants Samuel to go back with him, but Samuel was not going to go back with him. But today, there may be some in the audience today that have not done what they're supposed to have done towards the Lord. You set out, you did the best you thought you could do, and you thought it'd be okay with the Lord. But you see that that's not the way the Lord really wanted it to be. Let us think about it. You know, you can make it right, which Saul did. He asked Samuel to pray for him to the Lord. He acknowledged that he had sinned, that he didn't do right. You know, a lot of times people, the truth be pointed out and they still won't do right. But at least Samuel did see this. But as we go on, I could talk a lot more about Samuel because we've been studying a lot about him. But I have studied about him in the time past. But every time I study it, enlighten me a little bit more about him and learn more about his demeanor. So, as a Christian, we go day by day. Sometimes we should do things that we don't do. We leave things undone that we know we should do and can do. And we let it slide by. So, as a Christian, we know if you're falling short, all we got to do is go to God and pray and ask him to forgive us. And he will forgive us. And on the other hand, if you have made a public sin, where you have put the church to a shame, we know you need to make a public confession. But if there also be someone that does not obey the Lord, the first thing you need to do, you need to hear, be taught what the word is about. Romans 10:17. Faith come by hearing. You need to believe what you have read or been taught to. And that's Acts 16, verse 31. And also, there's a repentance need to be done. Acts chapter 2, 38. Also, there's a confession that need to be made. Romans 10 and 10. Also, if you have done all these things and you believe, you need to be baptized. Mark 16 and 16. Now, I said just a few things. I'm not the Lord. I'm not the preacher. I'm just trying to be a teacher this morning. So,